High-Tech Luxury presents the BMW i is an electric 7 Series, for better or worse. A new development has emerged in the electric vehicle movement. Companies may produce a new electric vehicle EV model of a similar size to the gas-powered version, but with a completely different design approach. We saw this with the Mercedes-Benz EQS, which is very different from the S-Class it will eventually replace when the brand switches to making only fully electric cars. Despite this, it seems like BMW is moving away from the concept. First, the company launched the i and the i8, two unique, ground-up electrified concepts that marked the beginning of an entirely new era in terms of design. However, such models did not do well in the marketplace, and the failure of those models was a contributing factor in the departure of Harald Krüger from his position as CEO of BMW. Then, in 2021, BMW launched the i, a 4 Series Grand Coupe with minor design updates and electric engines and batteries. The i7 has finally arrived, although there doesn't seem to be much of an aesthetic difference between it and the standard 7 Series. I have a question. Do you think that is a positive development? After spending a few hours with the 7 Series and the i7, I can confidently say it is a thing. Will making this decision be beneficial? I have no idea. Even BMW may not be aware of the situation. I also have my doubts as to whether the i7 knows what it is. You might be understood for thinking that the new 7 Series and i7 were little more than substantial facelifts of the previous 7 Series model. After all, the new automobiles have the same classic proportions seen on the model from 2015, including a long hood, a long wheelbase, and a rather short trunk deck lid. These are the components that made up the previous car. The most recent BMW 7 Series is not a car with a new look. Instead, it is a brand new model that rides on the CLAR platform, which can support both gas-powered and electric cars. There is no getting around the fact that the front fascia of the i7 requires a lot of strength and control. The kidney grills, often called coffin-shaped grills, take up most of the frontal real estate on non-M sports cars. The new lighting components, however, comprise a split-level headlight setup. The uppermost level provides running and daytime lights drills, while the lowest part of the level is responsible for high and low beam light, respectively. The i7 looks better when it is not equipped with the M Sport trim. This is because the M Sport trim conceals the form of the distinctive BMW grills, turning the front end into a strange, trapezoidal black hole, evoking the obscure and Europe-only say at Ibiza Boca Negra. I've heard it called everything from an angry beaver who died tragically in its dam to a bad fan art piece based on the original Angry Birds art. I am unsure whether those criticisms are valid. Nonetheless, I agree that the i7 may be challenging to look at times. I would check through my camera roll, quickly delete any photographs I didn't believe were worthy of publishing, and struggle to locate the perfect flattering angles of the large car. Whenever I believed I had warmed up to the front fascia, I would browse through my camera roll. When looking beyond the front fascia, the eye's lack of distinctive design features becomes immediately apparent. Because an electric car's ergonomics and technical constraints are distinct from those of an internal combustion engine ICE, manufacturers are free to experiment with body styles and configurations that were previously out of the question for the industry. The EQS is not to everyone's taste, but its design is unique and has nothing in common with the S-Class. The proportions of the i7 are regal, but compared to the one-of-a-kind forms of other full electric vehicle designs, it seems a touch similar, if not even out of date. On the other hand, the inside is a direct one for one import of the regular 7 Series model. The i's cabin has an almost architectural feel because of how its apparently different forms, materials, and surfaces interact in surprising yet thought-out ways. The digital instrument cluster and infotainment screen are designed to give the impression of floating apart from the primary dashboard structure in a very understated manner. This design was previously used on BMW's X concept car, but it has been taken to an extreme level for BMW's flagship luxury sedan. The level of attention to detail is impeccable. The crystalline drive selector, seat adjustability, and rail that holds the warning light switch and auto-close door buttons are all highlighted by a geometric triangular relief embossed into their respective forms. The chairs were molded with the vitality and character that Ray and Charles Eames contributed to the design process. They are comfortable, made of wool, and upholstered. All the shades roll up in theater mode, and a massive television measuring 31 inches descends from the ceiling, creating an experience that cannot be matched by anything other than a coach-built aftermarket limo. Interestingly, the electric vehicle version of the BMW i has virtually the same ergonomics as the conventional 7 Series, except for the high floor that is standard on most gas-powered cars that also have the option to be bought as electric vehicles. The BMW i was designed to be an on-road, totally electric luxury boat, and for the most part, it achieves this goal. But does the car's design reflect the preferences of its customers? When I was driving, the i7 was difficult to read. I thought, what kind of automobile is this meant to be? Who is it that this automobile was designed to serve? Although BMW is known for producing vehicle drivers, the i7 is not one of those vehicles, regardless of the market niche. Even in comparison to the normal 7 Series, it can be overly soft. The i's front end seems to soar for miles when you floor the accelerator, and the vehicle can explode from 0 to 60 miles per hour in only 4.7 seconds due to its 540 horsepower twin motor setup. However, the i's handling lacks the assurance of the gas-powered 7 Series. The steering provides less feedback, and the vehicle does not have the same sense of being able to grip the road as its counterpart that runs on gasoline. When I drove the gas-powered mild hybrid 760i on the same roads as the i7, I noticed that it was easier to drive and less soft, while still providing the same excellent ride quality as the i-Top. However, the i's handling lacks the assurance of the gas-powered 7 Series. The steering provides less feedback, and the vehicle does not have the same sense of being able to grip the road as its counterpart that runs on gasoline. When I drove the gas-powered mild hybrid 760i on the same roads as the i7, it seemed simpler to drive and was less soft while still having the same great ride quality as the i7. I found this to be the case when I compared the i7 to the 760i's drive. The i7 was not as agile as its cousin, which was powered by gas, and more crucially, it did not do as well in terms of its dynamic capabilities as the efforts of certain EV upstarts, such as Lucid. When I approached a BMW engineer about it, they explained that the i7 and the 760i did not have any differences in their suspension systems. That doesn't seem like it would have been the best course of action. The more seat time I got with the i7, I couldn't help but wonder, could BMW even make an M version of the i7? Could Alpine work its magic and correct the i7's dynamic soul? I don't know. And I don't know if BMW would want to either. Obviously, the i7 is more than just a 7 Series with electric motors and batteries stuffed under the floor. There's more engineering work to make the systems work together and cohesively. The i7 works well but feels like it's meant to serve as merely an electric option to the 7 Series. Cars like the Lucid Air or Mercedes-Benz EQS are completely new schools of thought, new shapes, and ideas implemented on a brand new chassis. By comparison, there is nothing inherently special to the i7's EV exterior design that makes it stand out from the fully electrified competition or even its sister model. The range of 318 miles from the 101 kWh usable battery, on paper at least, is mediocre, and the 195 kW DC fast charging rate isn't as speedy as some competitors. Will the i's mere existence as an EV be enough to sway buyers to choose the i7 over the standard 7 Series or more interesting ground-up EV designs? Only time will tell. The i's base price of $100,000 $120,795 price is competitive with the startup crowd, and the i7 is a bigger, more mature car than the Porsche Taycan. If you're in search of a big EV sedan with a sumptuous, well-designed interior, then the BMW i is just the ticket. But the buyer who has it in their head that BMW will offer the pinnacle of driving excellence, even when electrification has taken hold, may end up disappointed with what the i7 has to offer.